We're going to talk about what diminished 7 chords are, and then I'll show you how to play them as movable chords. A diminished 7 chord is a diminished triad with the interval of a diminished 7 added above the root, which is the note the chord is built on. In classical music theory, this chord is called a fully diminished chord, but most non-classical musicians, including myself, call it diminished 7. A diminished triad is 2 minor thirds stacked on top of each other, or another way to look at it is that a diminished triad is a minor triad with a lowered fifth. Here's a G minor chord, which is made up of G, B flat, and D. G is the root, B flat is the third, and D is the fifth. Lower that D to D flat, and you now have a G diminished triad. Now let's talk about the diminished 7 interval, and we'll continue using the root note G for reference. F sharp is a major 7th above G. F natural is a minor 7th above G. And F flat is a diminished 7 above G. And yes, F flat is really just E, but to officially label this note as some kind of 7th, we have to call it F flat. If we add this F flat to our G diminished triad, we now have a G diminished 7 chord. Now let's take a look at some movable diminished 7 shapes. This one has a root on the 6th string. Finger 2 is playing the root, and finger 1, 3, and 1. So finger 1 is barring strings 2 through 4, and we're muting the 1st and 5th strings. You can mute the 1st string by flattening out some fingers over here so you can feel, especially your 1st finger, touching this string and muting it. And your 2nd finger, which is playing the root, flatten that out a little bit so you can feel it touching the 5th string, and it mutes that string as well. This is a movable chord shape because there are no open strings. You could call this a G diminished 7 because I'm placing the root of this shape on the G on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. Move it up 1 fret, and now it's on a G sharp or A flat, depending on what you want to call it. So that would be a G sharp or A flat diminished. Move it again, and now you could call it an A diminished 7. This other shape has a root on the 5th string. So finger 2 is playing the root, 3, 1, and 4. This time we're muting strings 1 and 6. This is also a movable chord shape because there are no open strings. You could call this a C diminished 7 because I'm placing the root of this shape on the C on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. Move it 1 fret higher, and now my root is on a C sharp or D flat, depending on what you want to call it. So it's a C sharp or D flat diminished, and move it 1 more time, and now you could call this, if you like, a D diminished 7 because the root is on the 5th fret on that D. To play those movable shapes, you need to know the names of the notes on strings 5 and 6. If you need help in this area, check out this video to start learning the fretboard. And for more guitar lessons, music theory, and solo guitar arrangements, please subscribe.